thought he was the one. We all thought he was the one. Everyone did. There was a party, and we were all there, and some woman comes in, and she has a bottle of perfume, expensive perfume, and she just pours it all over him. She did that because she thought he was the one. What a waste. We could have sold that perfume and used the money for a greater purpose. I tried to tell him as much, but he came back at me insinuating that he was the purpose. Even so, I believed he was the one. I believed that he was going to turn everything upside down. I just knew it. I mean, people would have followed him anywhere. All he had to do was just say the word, but he wouldn't say the word. Instead, my time has not yet come. That's what he would say over and over to me. My time has not yet come. Are you kidding me? He was raising people from the dead, for crying out loud. He was healing the blind, producing food out of thin air. My time has not yet come. So I forced his hand. I made his time come. Things needed a push, and I was the only one that had the courage to do it. We were all up there eating. We were all up there. He looks across the table to me, and he says, "Get on with it." How did he know what I was going to do? It wasn't about the money. It was not about the money. It's just when you have that kind of power that he has, why wouldn't you leverage it to forward the agenda? People listen to him. You know the sound a wave makes after it hits the shore? And how quiet it gets after a few seconds when it stops? That was Jesus. When he spoke, it was like a rolling wave. And the crowds listening, they were the hush at the end of the wave. Because when he spoke, and you were there in his presence, there was no doubt in anyone's mind, he was the one. Oh, dear God. What have I done? What have I done?
Welcome to this Good Friday service. We say welcome to friends and members of Cedar United Church of Christ, to friends and family of Cedar Lutheran Church, and also especially to our friends and members of St. Luke's Lutheran Church. Long ago we decided to do this Good Friday service together. Our service is a series of readings and responses, silent reflection, and prayer designed to help us to enter more deeply into the meaning of Good Friday. And Pastor Candy and I will be using a nail for each reading and the extinguishing of each candle throughout the service. A reading from Isaiah chapter 52. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
See, my servant shall prosper. He shall be exalted and lifted up, and shall be very high. Just as there are many who were astonished at him, so marvelous his appearance beyond human semblance, and his form beyond all mortals. So he shall startle many nations. Kings shall shut their mouths because of him. For that which had not been told them they shall see, and that which they had not heard they shall contemplate. They shall contemplate. Let us pray. O
Merciful God, you
did not spare your only Son, but offered him up for us all, that he might bear our sins upon the cross. Grant that we might so examine ourselves that we realize our own sinfulness, so great as to spiritually crucify him anew. Help us to recognize those nails which we drive into the cross today. Transform us into more faithful disciples in his name. Amen.
The nail of pride. As he taught, Jesus said, "Beware of the scribes who like to walk around in long robes, and to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces, and have the best seats in the synagogues and the places of honor at the banquets. They devour widows' houses, and for the sake of appearances say long prayers. They will receive the greater commendation." O God, help us consider our own pride and where it leads.
O God, do not let us deceive ourselves. Our pride hurts us and creates walls between us and others.
O God, we know too that our pride hurts you.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
The nail of betrayal. Matthew 26. While he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived. With him was a large crowd with swords and clubs from the chief priests and the elders of the people. Now the betrayer had given them a sign, saying, "The one I will kiss is the man. Arrest him." And once he came up to Jesus and said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. Jesus said to him, "Friend, do what you are here to do." Then they came and laid hands on Jesus and arrested him. Suddenly, one of those with Jesus put his hand on a sword and drew it and struck the slave of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Then Jesus said to him, "Put your sword back in its place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword. Do you think that I cannot appeal to my Father and heal at once and more than 12 legions of angels? But how then would the scriptures be fulfilled, which says it must happen in this way?" At that hour, Jesus said to the crowds, "Have you come with swords and clubs to arrest me as though I were a bandit? Day after day I was in the temple teaching, and you did not arrest me. But all this has taken place, so that the scriptures of the prophets may be fulfilled." Then all the disciples deserted him and fled. O God, help us to consider how we betray others, how we abandon them in their time of need, and we think of ourselves first.
O God, do not let us deceive ourselves. Our acts of betrayal hurt us and create walls between us and others.
O God, we know too that our betrayal hurts you.
Were you there when he walked the road alone? Were you there when he walked the road alone? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when he walked the road alone?
The nail of envy. Then the mother of the sons of Zebedee came to him with her sons, and kneeling before him, she asked a favor of him. And he said to her, "What do you want?" And she said to him, "Declare that these 2 sons of mine will sit, one at your right and one at your left in your kingdom." But Jesus answered, "You don't know what you are asking. Are you able to drink the cup that I am about to drink?" And they said to him, "We are able." And he said to them, "You will indeed drink my cup, but to sit at my right hand, at my left, this is not mine to grant, but it is for those for whom it has been prepared by my Father." When the 10 heard it, they were angry with the 2 brothers. But Jesus called to them and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones are tyrants over them. It will not be so among you, but whoever wishes to be great among you must be your servant, and whoever wishes to be first among you must be your slave, just as the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." O God, help us consider how we envy others, how we desire more than we receive, and seek to influence and rule over others.
O God, do not let us deceive ourselves. Our envy hurts us and creates walls between us and others.
O God, we know too that our envy hurts you.
Were you there when they stripped him of his clothes? Were you there when they stripped him of his clothes? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they stripped him of his clothes?
The nail of indecision. Matthew 27. Now the chief priests and elders persuaded the crowds to ask for Barabbas and to have Jesus killed. The governor again said to them, "Which of the two do you want me to release for you?" They said, "Barabbas." Pilate said to them, "Then what shall I do with Jesus, who you call the Messiah?" All of them said, "Let him be crucified." Then he asked, "Why? What evil has he done?" But they shouted all the more, "Let him be crucified." So when Pilate saw that he could do nothing, but rather that a riot was beginning, he took some water and washed his hands before the crowd, saying, "I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves." O God, help us consider how we waver, how we seek to avoid responsibility and to blame others for our actions.
O God, do not let us deceive ourselves. Our indecision hurts us and creates walls between us and others.
O God, we know too that our indecision hurts you.
Were you there when they nailed him to the cross? Were you there when they nailed him to the cross? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they nailed him to the cross?
The nail of cruelty. Then the soldiers of the government took Jesus into the governor's headquarters, and they gathered the whole cohort around him. And they stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him. And after twisting some thorns into a crown, they put it on his head. They put a reed in his right hand and knelt before him and mocked him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews." They spat on him and took the reed and struck him on the head. After mocking him, they stripped him of the robe and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him away to crucify him. And those who passed by derided him, shaking their heads and saying, "You who would destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross." In the same way, the chief priests also, along with the scribes and the elders, were mocking him, saying he saved others, yet he cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel. Let him come down from the cross now, and then we will believe in him. Oh God, help us consider how we are cruel to others, how we malign and slander others and add to the evil that comes upon them.
O God, do not let us deceive ourselves. Our cruelty hurts us and creates walls between us and others.
Oh God, we know too that our cruelty hurts you.
Were you there when they mocked the Son of God? Were you there when they mocked the Son of God? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they mocked the Son of God?
The nail of hatred. Luke chapter 6. Blessed are you when people hate you, when they exclude you, revile you, and defame you on account of the Son of Man. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. If you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners do the same. If you lend to those from whom you hope to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners to receive as much again. But love your enemies, do good and lend, expecting nothing in return. Your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, for he is kind to the ungrateful and the wicked. O God, help us consider how we show hatred to others, how we fail to care for others, and make distinctions among them.
Oh God, do not let us deceive ourselves. Our hatred hurts us and creates walls between us and others.
O God, we know too that our hatred hurts you.
Were you there when the sun refused to shine? Were you there when the sun refused to shine? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when the sun refused to shine?
Our act of confession for Good Friday is taken from Isaiah 53. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted.
He was wounded for our transgressions, and he was bruised for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that made us whole.
We all like sheep have gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid upon him the iniquity of us all.
And hear the promise of mercy. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like the sheep that is before its shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth.
By perversion of justice he was taken away. Who could have imagined his future? For he was cut off from the land of the living, stricken for the transgressions of my people.
They made his grave with the wicked, and his tomb with the rich, although he had done no violence, and there was no deceit in his mouth.
Yet it was the will of the Lord to crush him with pain. When you make his life an offering for sin, he shall see his offspring, and shall prolong his days. Through him the will of the Lord shall prosper.
Out of his anguish he shall see light. He shall find satisfaction through his knowledge.
The righteous one, God's servant, shall make many righteous, and he shall bear their iniquities.
Therefore I will allot him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out himself to death, and was numbered with his transgressors. Yet he bore the sins of many, and made intercessions for the transgressors.
Lord, you have given us everything.
You have not held anything back, not even your own begotten Son.
With humble hearts, we thank you.
In new hope we offer to you, and for the work of salvation, our every gift and our very selves.
Be pleased, O God, in the name of Jesus, to accept all that we offer at this time. Look upon the intentions of our hearts, hear our prayers, and in your love, answer. We ask all these things through him, who taught us to pray boldly, saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, now and forever. Amen.